the shower room, heard a big bang. And came out, I thought something had hit the building. As soon as I came out, I turned around the corner and I saw the boat that was blown apart. A bomb got off. It was screaming. The female was screaming very loudly. I ran over to the back of the boat, thinking that the female was inside the boat still and trapped. Then found out she'd been blown into the water right behind the boat. I reached down, grabbed her arm, but she was flailing away, and held her onto the boat, or onto the back of the boat. Another gentleman and her husband came over, climbed down on the back of the boat, tried to lift her up. We did lift her up, and then the flames started getting too close, and we had to push her back into the water to get her away from the flames. Two other guys dragged her over to the other side, got her about 7 boats down, and they managed to keep her there until the EMS arrived.
And how much injuries did she have? What kind of injuries did she have?
I couldn't tell at the time. She had a lot of, she was complaining of back, leg, arms, a few little burns that I could see on her arms. She was mostly hysterical at this point and a lot of pain. So from there, the owner of the boat, he got thrown about 20 feet in the air. He landed on the dock. He was complaining he had back injuries. I went over to him. He tried to get him to move. He said, "I can't move." I said, "We have to move. The flames are getting too close." So I dragged him up the stairs here and managed to get him over to the asphalt away from the flames. Got him safe and sound, and sort of went back. By the time I went back to the boat, it was fully engulfed and too hot to even get close to.
And were there fire trucks here at that time?
They took about 4 or 5 minutes to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
This all happened within the first 2 minutes.
Right. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so it's nothing new to you then. You're well versed in the first responders type of thing.
Been first responder for the last 25 years.
Right. Now, can we mention that you're the security for this area, so you have video?
Security for the site here, as well as most of Halton Region. We do and have worked with Halton Regional Police on several cases, investigations. And, we did secure the site. We have secured the video from the scene, and it's all held pending investigation at this point.
So what's going to happen now? How long is it going to be before the fire marshal, or the boat's lifted and the fire marshal? When do you?
As I've been made aware, they're going to try and take the boat out tomorrow, but that's dependent on what they find. It's sitting on the bottom right now, so they have a lot of planning to do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the fire marshal will try to see what's there, if anything.
Yep.
Okay, and what about the fuel spills, or fuel? Was that contained?
As far as I know, that's all been contained at this point.
Okay, the EP...
They've been here and cleared the scene as far as I'm aware, and again, I'm not one to state one way or the other.
All of a sudden the phone started ringing off the hook out there, and everybody from the club was calling saying we had an explosion, so we all raced back here as fast as we could and sort of jumped in and tried to help wherever we could.
Mm-hmm. Now what about the actual explosion itself? Do you think that had an effect on saving these people from severe burns? Or?
I do. Yeah. So typically in an explosion like this, the boat blows straight up. And because of that, anybody beside the boat, near the boat, isn't affected. I mean, they're affected by the boom of but there's no, debris blowing straight this way into them or anything like that. So the format of the explosion, if you will, was such that they, nobody was hurt from that. And the flame, it was instant. If you've seen the video, the flame started down in the hall, and the explosion sort of blew everybody off the boat right away. So we didn't have a lot of debris hurting anyone, and then by the time the flames started, everyone was sort of fear of the boat, and our members did a fantastic job. They raced down here. We had them jumping in the water beside the boat, pulling the people to safety. just can't say enough about that.
How much? I know the lady was in the water. What about the rest? Just
Yep.
say where they ended up.
Yeah,
Like
so the owner, the captain of the boat, he was on the bridge, so he got blown straight up, and when he came down, he landed on the dock. The second gentleman was actually on the dock, untying the boat when the explosion happened, so he just sort of got knocked backwards. The female was the one that took the brunt of it. She was on the back of the boat itself, and when they exploded, it kind of shot her backwards toward the dock, and she's the one that's got the most significant injuries.
What's the state right now of everyone?
The one gentleman's out. He was actually down here last night. I had the opportunity to talk to him. His wife is the one that's got the bulk of the injuries. She's got some significant injuries pretty much in her legs, in her lower body, her feet, her ankles, her knees, because obviously that's what took the percussion of the blast. So she's in for a long road. She's going to be fine, but there's going to be a number of surgeries, I think, and sort of orthopedic processes to sort of put her legs back together. But her husband's real grateful. She's going to be okay.
She's in Hamilton, though, is she?
She's in Hamilton General. She's the one that got airlifted. The other two went in ambulances. She got airlifted on Saturday afternoon.
So the other two are out, or just one?
The one is out. Her husband is out, and then the owner of the boat is still in. He's got either a broken arm or a wrist, and he's got an issue with 2 or 3 vertebrae in his back. Whether they're broken or fractured, I don't know. We've got him stabilized, and he'll be fine as well, I'm led to believe. But he's got a surgery upcoming to sort of do what they do to the back. Yeah.
Now, the people that were the couple, were they just they were just guests going out?
Yeah. So it was the owner, and then he had this couple that were husband and wife that were his guests, and they pulled out of their dock and they came down to our gas dock. They fueled up. When that whole process was done, they were untying the boat, and when he went to start the engines, the boat exploded.
And no one can say anything about that now.
The fire marshal is still investigating the whole process.
Still investigating. It's not complete then.
Not from the police have closed their report and their investigation. The fire marshal, he just needs, because we've still got a bunch of the wreckage in the water, we need to get that up so that he can take some pictures with regards to fuel tanks and lines and whatever's left down there that he can look at.
But there's not much to really be able to determine.
There isn't, and the reality is, it's very likely that he's going to come back with sort of, the cause is inconclusive. I don't know how you could tell. I'm not a forensic guy, but I don't know how you could tell what the problem is there.
What would be the message from all this then? Go ahead.
Sorry, the message is pretty simple. I mean, the boat maintenance and and again, it's speculation with regards to what went on when you pulled away. We have blowers in the bottom of our boat, so when we finish fueling, the first thing you do is you turn on these blowers for 4 or 5 minutes, and they're big fans in your hull that'll clear away any fumes or vapors. Then you go up and you turn the key, so that if there's anything in your motors that sparks, there's no fumes to ignite. Clearly, there was fumes in the hull, maybe not because of the blower process. It could have been, a leaking fuel line, a leaking tank, but proper process when it comes to starting the boat is, safety first, sort of the message. Sometimes we're so excited to get out on the lake and go boating, we jump on those boats and turn the keys, let's go. And this is an example of what.
But there's signs, I guess, all over.
There are. Yeah, we have documented processes. We have a sign on our dock that goes through exactly what needs to happen in the fueling process. And from what the police tell me, the fueling process was textbook. But for whatever reason, whether the blowers weren't on or whether there was something wrong inside the boat, like I say, a fracture in a gas tank or a gas line, it could be one of a dozen, it could be one of 100 things. But somehow there was fuel vapor in the hull of the boat, and when that key got turned, the boat exploded.
That's a definite.
That's a definite.
Now, as far as the amount of damage, essentially you have the dock and you have the boat, but your damage is just the dock. It could have been much worse.
It could have been much worse. I mean, there'll be some significant costs with regards to the environmental work that these guys have had to do from first response. They've been awesome. They got here right away. They got booms in the river to contain the fuel from either going into Lake Ontario or up the river the other way. And over the last 48 hours, we've been slowly bringing those booms in to the point now where we have everything contained around the wreckage itself. So if you go over now, you'll see, fuel. There's no fuel in the water. It's just a pretty good looking mess of a boat that's left that we have to try.
Do you think there was a lot of fuel in the water? Was there a lot of surface fuel? I didn't.
You know, I don't know, because, and the fire marshal will conclude on this, because when the boat catches fire, it burns so intensely that fire usually is fueled by the gas on the boat. So there's a very, very good chance that when the boat exploded, the gas that was in it burned off. We pulled one of the gas tanks off this morning, and there was very little fuel in it. So the other one, I don't think we haven't been able to get it up because it's kind of buried underneath. But from cameras, it looks like it's not fractured or anything. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next step as far as recovery?
So we tried to get some airbags under it this morning to get it up. But because it sort of worked its way into the silt, we had a real good storm yesterday afternoon. The boat's almost suctioned into the bottom of the lake, and we were unsuccessful in trying to get the boat up. So what happens now is we're going to bring a crane in. We just need to get the crane to lift the boat up enough that the fire marshal can get on and finish his investigation. And then we're going to bring in some kind of, it's going to have to come out in pieces, whether that's through a grappling hook or a high-ho piece of equipment, something that's going to go in and sort of take it out in pieces and put it in this dumpster.
What size of crane are you going to use? It's
the crane we use when we haul out and launch our boats. I'm not familiar with the capacity of it, but it's, you know, these typical, the boats here, we have boats that weigh, 10, 12 ton, so, and this thing picks it up fairly easily. So
this will be an arm, not a cradle, but
no, this will be, the big stabilizing machine that, what's the capacity of our crane, just at a
80 ton.
There you go.
80 or 120.
Yeah, and when's that due?
Well, we're hoping to have it here in an hour, but it's, they had to pull some of the gentlemen off of a site in Toronto, get them back to the yard to get the big crane and come here. So, realistically, we're hoping maybe 2:30 we'll see the crane,
and then everybody will be here, the fire marshal,
that's right,
and all that.
We'll come back, just to see it come out and take their pictures.
Was it burned to the water line then? Is that what essentially happened, and then it sinks, eh?
Yeah,
that's normal.
The boat is built in two pieces, and so when this exploded, it pretty much explodes where it comes apart where the boat is joined at the point of manufacture. That went up in the air, came back down, and then the whole thing just burned into the water.
How far away were some of the items, or the?
We have boats that are about 150 or 200 feet up the river both ways that are still covered in glass and debris. My truck's at the top of the hill, and one of his windshield wipers was in the back of my pickup truck. So
incredible.
Yeah.